when you are starting the adoption process, mindset is definitely the first place to start to set your foundation, which we hope will stay with you throughout your journey. Also, it's good to visualize what your baby's going to look like. I truly believe you can manifest what you see and what you really put your focus on. So visualizing what that whole experience is going to be like for you ahead of time and jotting it down, journaling throughout, really important. Also, another just small piece about mindset is that most of us come into it, start our adoption journey with a past. Well, I guess everyone has a past, but with a past that might include a lot of heartache, a lot of loss, a lot of sadness, a lot of frustration. Most of us come to adoption after having gone through our own fertility journeys. And so I think it's really important, again, we're talking about mindset, to separate that journey from the one that you are on now. The adoption journey is it's a new place to start. It's a new path that you're going to go down. It's a fresh path, and we need to treat it as such. And I'm not saying that the past doesn't all go away that easily. We need to give ourselves time, and you might need to give yourself a pause to grieve, to breathe, to really think through, are you ready to give your whole heart and whole mind, your attention on this new path? I think that's really important. When I was going through my own adoption journey, it was after 3 years or so of fertility, my own infertility journey and fertility treatments and lots of IUIs and lots of heartache, lots of ups and downs, and thinking that was my path. And actually, it was on a long drive back from my last appointment at the infertility clinic, when I knew that that was not going to be my journey, that I cried and cried and cried and cried. And again, it was an hour-long trip. And then something came over me that released the weight of the world off my shoulders. And perhaps it was because I knew that that piece of my journey, that door was closing, and that I could start fresh on a new path. And a ton of bricks just came off my shoulders. It was sad, but at the same time, I felt this sense of relief that I hadn't felt in 3 years. And while at that moment, I really didn't know a whole lot of adoption, all I knew was what I made up in my head, which wasn't always so positive. I knew that this was a potential for me. And I'm a social worker. I've always worked with children and families, and I've been a big sister, and so giving back and embracing, and it has always been a part of my life. I'm a social worker, I have an MSW, and so the thought of adoption, even though I didn't know much about it, really felt like home to me, really felt like in my bones, perhaps this is really where I was supposed to be led all along. I just had to go through this, zigzag up and down, around the bend, that kind of a journey beforehand. And I'm not saying that it's not like that with adoption too. It certainly can be. And there are ways to help those ups and downs be more supported. Maybe with, when you're down, being supported enough to know that the next step is in front of you and it's going to be the right step to take you where you want to be. I really had to go through a lot of ups and downs and arounds and crying and happiness and all the things before I truly understood what my path was. And at that moment, it just felt right. Like a new excitement came over me, and I knew that this was the way I was going to become a mom.